Chicago Sky head coach James Wade was recently forced to retire, leaving fans stunned and the whole WNBA in shock. The startling reason for his departure is far darker than anyone could have predicted. Right in the middle of the storm, Angel Reese, of course. According to team members, a private incident that took place behind closed doors set off the series of events that ultimately brought everything to a head. Insiders claim that what began as a heated altercation in the locker room turned into a full-fledged controversy, leaving Angel Reese in tears, scared, and uncertain about her future with the team. According to reports, other players saw the explosive encounter but said nothing until now. What actually transpired during that secret meeting was made public just days ago by a mystery leak from within the company. And because it was so upsetting and disrespectful, Sky's ownership was forced to sever their relationship with Coach Wade right away. The worst part is that this wasn't an isolated incident. Wade may have gone too far with Angel before, according to recent sources. Answers are being demanded by fans. The league is in a hurry. What about Angel Reese? She may never again have faith in her squad. Keep an eye out because what comes next has the potential to ruin the Chicago Sky. James Wade was regarded as the pillar of the Chicago Sky prior to the resignation controversy that rocked the sports world. Wade, who had long been hailed for turning the Sky back into a competitive team, was well known for his tough leadership and keen basketball acumen. He had results, he had experience, and higher management trusted him. But as soon as Angel Reese entered the room, everything started to fall apart. The Sky rejoiced as though they had just won the title when Angel Reese was selected. She brought a tidal wave of media attention and hype along with her athletic prowess and ferocious competitiveness. Reese, also known as Bayou Barbie, was a huge personality who was unabashedly confident, Instagram famous, and extremely affluent. However, what initially appeared to be a perfect match swiftly devolved into a powder keg in the locker room. Wade and Reese reportedly fought behind closed doors from the beginning. According to reports, Wade called out her attitude during practice and made her earn her spot like any other rookie. However, Angel wasn't used to being talked down to because she had just won a national championship and was the face of several business deals. Insiders claim that Wade humiliated her in addition to giving her fierce coaching. According to anonymous players, team meetings were more antagonistic. Despite Reese's impressive accomplishments, Wade allegedly referred to her as a distraction and downplayed her contributions. According to a source, Wade once benched her during a nationally broadcast game without giving a reason, shocking the locker room and social media. It has been suggested that Angel's personal life was affected by her frustration. She stopped smiling in post-game interviews, frequently avoiding queries on team camaraderie, as close friends saw. Wade, meanwhile, kept acting as though nothing was wrong, publicly complimenting her but keeping her out of team strategy and leadership conversations in private. The emotional collapse followed. Reese reportedly broke down in tears as she left practice early during a private meeting with Wade. After being missing from the bench for a few days, she was sent to the hospital for stress-related complications. Despite fans' demands for answers, the Sky front office remained silent. However, it was reported that Wade was furious that Reese's team disclosed her health problems to the public. The last straw. Wade allegedly said, "This is a basketball team, not a fashion runway," at Reese in the locker room on leaked tape, accusing her of being the cause of the club's media circus. The WNBA community was incensed as the recording swiftly went viral. Wade resigned in response to tremendous public pressure and rumors that players were planning a silent boycott. However, it didn't stop there. Reese's team has intentionally kept quiet, as there are speculations that a tell-all interview, or perhaps legal action could be planned. A narrative of power, envy, abuse, and a rising star who refused to be broken was revealed in what appeared to be just another player-coach argument. And that was just the start. Coach James Wade's resignation sparked a tempest rather than the resolution that many had hoped for. Rumors of misbehavior and emotional abuse had been circulating for weeks. But now that Wade was gone and Angel Reese was still absent from practice, insiders started disclosing startling new information about what had transpired behind those closed doors. It went beyond ego conflicts and verbal outbursts. A Sky assistant coach who later left in support of Reese claimed that Wade intentionally fostered a toxic and retaliatory atmosphere with the intention of shattering Angel's spirit. According to reports, she was barred from team lunches, had to conduct additional drills by herself, and was abruptly removed from important team conversations. Wade reportedly warned employees, "She needs to be humbled. or she ruined this team, according to one insider. A Chicago journalist's revelation of a private internal report that the Sky's management had suppressed was the first twist. The organization's top brass reportedly decided not to take action out of fear of backlash from firing a respected male coach over what they dismissed as rookie drama. The report detailed numerous complaints made by players regarding Wade's treatment of Angel, including one shocking incident in which he allegedly screamed at her in front of sponsors and threatened to suspend her to protect the brand. The revelation that Reese's mental collapse and hospitalization weren't just the product of media pressure was even more concerning. Following a private meeting with Wade, where he allegedly told her, "You're not as important as you think, you are," Angel experienced a severe panic attack, according to family sources. That same evening, she was taken to a nearby medical facility and placed under observation for what doctors described as acute psychological distress. However, the most incriminating statement may have come from an unnamed teammate who said that, during a filming session, the entire crew overheard Wade make fun of Angel's mental health behind her back. That teammate later referred to it as the pivotal moment, adding, "We all saw who he really was in that moment." He reportedly laughed and remarked, "Maybe she come back when her little episode's over." She was unimportant to him. He desired to shatter her. The news was promptly picked up by the media. Overnight, popular opinion changed as national media outlets started to investigate. On Angel's part, fans who had previously questioned her approach were now incensed. Former WNBA greats spoke out and demanded a thorough inquiry as hashtag Justice for Angel and hashtag Wade Out started to trend. Angel, meanwhile, said nothing. She hadn't gone back to social media, gaming, or practice. However, behind the scenes, her team, which included intimate friends, family, and attorneys, was allegedly assembling a case. A controversy that threatened to engulf the entire team had grown out of what had started as a coaching change. The stakes were only about to rise as there were whispers that Angel Reese's family was getting ready to make their first public appearance. Silence was a tactic, not a sign of weakness. Big things were on the horizon. The controversy surrounding Coach Wade and Angel Reese intensified into a full-fledged media disaster just when supporters believed the worst had already been revealed. Angel Reese's family had formally recruited a legal team, and not just any legal team, but a formidable outfit known for handling significant athletes' abuse cases less than 48 hours after the leaked internal report made headlines. This news shocked the WNBA, according to people close to the Reese family. The lawsuit covered more ground than just emotional anguish or defamation, citing willful negligence, mental and emotional abuse, and workplace retaliation. They were drafting a legal claim against Coach Wade and the Chicago Sky organization. This was no longer just about Angel. It was about accountability at the top echelon of women's professional sports. The largest surprise, however, was leaked video footage that was never intended to be seen. Video from a behind-the-scenes practice session was leaked anonymously by a member of the Sky's media team. Wade was heard scolding Angel in front of the squad in the grainy, uncut footage, using an aggressive and contemptuous tone. At one point, he seemed to yell, "Maybe you don't belong in the league if you can't handle pressure," and thrust a clipboard in her way. The footage was damning. It became viral in a matter of hours. There was a ruckus among sports fans, athletes, and media figures. An evasive statement from the WNBA's official account recognizing growing concerns and pledging a review only served to heighten the outcry. A thorough, independent inquiry into Wade's actions as well as the Sky's internal management of the matter was urged by critics. In the meantime, a number of Angel's former teammates from LSU started to speak forward. "Y'all don't even know half of what she's been through," said Flujay Johnson in a mysterious Instagram post. Alexis Morris added, "Protect Black women, particularly the ones you all make money off of." Former WNBA players also added their voices. Candace Parker expressed her grief about the treatment of a developing league star, while Lisa Leslie deemed the leaked tape unacceptable. Parker wrote on social media, "You don't get to bully the face of your franchise and walk away without consequences. The most terrifying revelation, though, may have come from an individual who said that Wade's actions were known to the Sky front office for months. Early in June, they allegedly had an internal meeting to discuss their worries about Wade's friendship with Angel and the possible PR risk if word spread. They chose to let the season play out rather than perform. At the expense of a young star's mental well-being, let the season conclude. That realization marked a sea change. the public's opinion completely changed in Angel's favor. The topic of discussion had shifted from locker room drama to structural failure and accountability in women's athletics. Additionally, Angel's mother posted a chilling statement on X, saying, "They tried to break her." Just as the WNBA was getting ready to contain the damage, however, they forgot her parents. Now it's our turn. There was more to come, and nobody was safe, not even the league. The outcry was loud and quick. A tsunami of sympathy for Angel Reese swept through the sports community as soon as the leaked video surfaced on social media. Globally, hashtags like #FireWadeNow, #JusticeForAngel, and #ProtectBlackWomenIn Sports started to gain popularity. Supporters bombarded the Chicago Sky's official accounts with calls for accountability, transparency, and answers. Celebrities also added their voices. "You guys really allowed a grown man to harass Angel Reese on camera and hoped it wouldn't come out," Cardi B tweeted. Rapper Lil Wayne retweeted the video with the comment, "Nope, that's disgusting. We will not tolerate this, Angel. Stand tall." The WNBA's silence, meanwhile, was deafening. Despite the fact that every post they made received thousands of comments, the league remained silent regarding Coach Wade for almost 2 days. Stephen A. Smith and other commentators criticized the league in real time on ESPN, saying, "This is a disgrace. Wade would have already been suspended if this had been the NBA. Why is Angel Reese left to face this challenge by herself?" Sponsors also started to distance themselves. A small airline that was one of Sky's main business partners halted all of the team's advertising until an official investigation was started. A significant clothing company, another partner, issued a statement denouncing all forms of workplace intimidation and expressing concern for Angel's safety. The players were creating a stir even within the WNBA. A group of players from various teams released a joint statement calling for Coach Wade to resign and urging the league to create real protections for young stars. Navigating power dynamics in professional sports, Sabrina Ionescu reposted a photo of Angel crying, captioning it, "No woman should have to go through this." Former athletes went one step further. "This is what happens when coaches get too much power and no oversight," Swincash stated during a podcast appearance. "Angel simply had the guts to speak up, and I've witnessed this happen before." The most heartbreaking incident, however, occurred during a Chicago Sky home game when supporters displayed posters that said, "We stand with Angel and accountability now." The audience jeered when Angel did not appear on the court, not because she was not there, but rather because the franchise had failed to defend her. The public was no longer merely observing. They wanted blood. Coach Wade, too, he had stopped talking altogether. Not one interview, not a word. However, the storm was far from ended. A second, even more unsettling video emerged just when supporters believed the worst was over and the dust could finally settle. This was more than a simple altercation. A team staffer covertly shared the video of the full-fledged verbal outburst with a local journalist in Chicago. The video shows Coach Wade yelling at Angel Reese during a private filming session. However, it was more than simply her performance this time. By bringing up her NIL deals, making fun of her off-court persona, and accusing her of putting herself above the team, Wade went too far in an aggressive manner. What he said was laced with one's own poison. And that's not all. Wade was told he had gone too far by an assistant coach, who was another voice in the room. Wade allegedly threatened the assistant's employment rather than resigning. When Angel, obviously overwhelmed, departed the session in tears and slammed the door behind her, the room fell into startled stillness. It couldn't have come at a worse time. Wade's future was the subject of an urgent meeting with the Chicago Sky's ownership group that same evening. The recent release revealed a pattern in addition to confirming the abuse. According to insiders, Wade has previously reprimanded players in private, but this was the first time such evidence had been made public. The strain became unbearable. The shocking announcement that James Wade resigns as Chicago Sky head coach effective immediately splashed across phones across the country at 1:47 a.m. It wasn't over though. League authorities said that an inquiry into Wade's actions as well as how the organization permitted them to continue was still ongoing. Additionally, Angel's legal team made a suggestion that the franchise itself might be the target of a civil case. What about Angel? Since resigning, she hasn't posted anything. Don't tweet, no Instagram story, no interview. She's not done, though according to people close to her, by no means. For the reason that it's quiet. There's going to be a big event. The focus now shifts to you. the followers, the fans, and the people who have been there from the beginning. Would you support Angel Reese? Do you think that no player should be verbally humiliated in private, regardless of how well-known or divisive they are? Because the culture of silence that has been accepted in professional sports for far too long is at the heart of this narrative, which goes beyond a coach's resignation, the forced medical stay, the cover-ups, Angel's emotional collapse, and now the coach's exposure, all suggest a system that safeguards power rather than athletes. The fact is that Angel Reese has turned into a symbol, a lightning rod. Despite being reviled by many and loved by millions, she unquestionably refuses to be broken. We now pose this question: should the WNBA conduct a thorough inquiry into abuse in locker rooms? Should the front desk of the Chicago Sky be held responsible for the events that transpired on its premises? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Was Wade's resignation sufficient, or does this mark the start of a much more extensive reckoning? If you believe Angel should be given justice, hit the like button. If you want to receive all of the exciting updates about what will happen next, subscribe. We have unique insider leaks that the mainstream media is still refusing to cover. And if you believe that there is yet more to Angel Reese's narrative, you are entirely correct. It's not over yet. The revolution has only just begun. Because, if someone like Angel Reese could experience this, then who will be next? Keep an eye out. Don't be quiet, and don't ever turn your head away.